by means of the single transferable vote. The Shawneed is composed of 6 members, with 11 nominated by the Taoiseach, 6 elected by 2 university constituencies, and 43 elected by public representatives from panels of candidates established on a vocational basis. Michael D. Higgins. Michael D. Higgins. President Leo Varadkar. Leo Varadkar. Taoiseach. The government is constitutionally limited to 15 members. No more than 2 members can be selected from the Shawneed, and the Taoiseach, Tánaiste, Deputy Prime Minister, and Minister for Finance must be members of the Dáil. The Dáil must be dissolved within 5 years of its first meeting following the previous election, 80, and a general election for members of the Dáil must take place no later than 30 days after the dissolution. In accordance with the Constitution of Ireland, parliamentary elections must be held at least every 7 years, though a lower limit may be set by statute law. The current government is a coalition of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and the Green Party with Leo Varadkar of Fine Gael as Taoiseach and Michael Martin of Fianna Fáil as Tánaiste. Opposition parties in the current Dáil are Sinn Féin, the Labour Party, People Before Profit Solidarity, Social Democrats, AN2, as well as a number of independents. Ireland has been a member state of the European Union since 1973. Citizens of the United Kingdom can freely enter the country without a passport due to the Common Travel Area, which is a passport-free zone comprising the islands of Ireland, Great Britain, the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands. However, some identification is required at airports and seaports. Local government. Arizon Watarain, official residence of the President of Ireland. Government buildings. The Local Government Act 1898 was the founding statute of the present system of local government, while the 20th Amendment to the Constitution of 1999 provided for its constitutional recognition. The 26 traditional counties of Ireland are the basis of the local government areas, with the traditional counties of Cork, Dublin and Galway containing 2 or more local government areas. The Local Government Act 2001, as amended by the Local Government Reform Act 2014, 81, provides for a system of 31 local authorities, 26 county councils, 2 city and county councils, and 3 city councils. 81 counties, with the exception of the counties in Dublin and the 3 city councils, are divided into municipal districts. A second local government tier of town councils was abolished in 2014. Fingal, Dublin City, Dunlawga Rathdown, South Dublin, Wicklow, Kilkenny, Waterford, Cork City, Cork, Kerry, Wexford, Carlow, Kildare, Meath, Louth, Monaghan, Cavan, Longford, Westmeath, Offaly, Laius, Limerick, Tipperary, Clare, Galway, Galway City, Mayo, Roscommon, Sligo, Leitrim, Donegal. Local authorities are responsible for matters such as planning, local roads, sanitation, and libraries. The breaching of county boundaries should be avoided as far as practicable in drawing Dáil constituencies. Counties with greater populations have multiple constituencies, some of more than one county, but generally do not cross county boundaries. The counties are grouped into 3 regions, each with a regional assembly composed of members delegated by the various county and city councils in the region. The regions do not have any direct administrative role as such, but they serve for planning, coordination and statistical purposes. Law. The 4 courts, completed in 1802, is the principal building for civil courts. Ireland has a common law legal system with a written constitution that provides for a parliamentary democracy. The court system consists of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, the Circuit Court and the District Court, all of which apply the Irish law and hear both civil and criminal matters. Trials for serious offences must usually be held before a jury. The High Court, Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have authority, by means of judicial review, to determine the compatibility of laws and activities of other institutions of the state with the Constitution and the law. Except in exceptional circumstances, court hearings must occur in public. 82, 83. The Garda Síochána, lit. Guardians of the Peace, more commonly referred to as the Gardaí, is the state's civilian police force. The force is responsible for all aspects of civil policing, both in terms of territory and infrastructure. It is headed by the Garda Commissioner, who is appointed by the government. Most uniformed members do not routinely carry firearms. Standard policing is traditionally carried out by uniformed officers equipped only with a baton and pepper spray. 84. The military police is the core of the Irish Army, responsible for the provision of policing service personnel and providing a military police presence to forces while on exercise and deployment. In wartime, additional tasks include the provision of a traffic control organization to allow rapid movement of military formations to their mission areas. Other wartime roles include control of prisoners of war and refugees. 85. The Criminal Courts of Justice is the principal building for criminal courts. Ireland's citizenship laws relate to the island of Ireland, including islands and seas, thereby extending them to Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. Therefore, anyone born in Northern Ireland who meets the requirements for being an Irish citizen, such as birth on the island of Ireland to an Irish or British citizen parent or a parent who is entitled to live in Northern Ireland or the Republic without restriction on their residency. 86. May exercise an entitlement to Irish citizenship, such as an Irish passport. 87. Foreign relations. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar and the Cabinet of Ireland with US President Joe Biden at Dublin Castle in April 2023. Foreign relations are substantially influenced by membership of the European Union, although bilateral relations with the United Kingdom and United States are also important. 88. It held the presidency of the Council of the European Union on 6 occasions, most recently from January to June 2013. 89. Ireland tends towards independence in foreign policy, thus the country is not a member of NATO and has a long-standing policy of military neutrality. This policy has led to the Irish Defence Forces contributing to peacekeeping missions with the United Nations since 1960, including during the Congo crisis and subsequently in Cyprus, Lebanon and Bosnia and Herzegovina. 90. Despite Irish neutrality during World War II, Ireland had more than 50,000 participants in the war through enlistment in the British Armed Forces. During the Cold War, Irish military policy, while ostensibly neutral, was biased towards NATO. 91. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, Sean Lemus authorized the search of Cuban and Czechoslovak aircraft passing through Shannon and passed the information to the CIA. 92. Ireland's air facilities were used by the United States military for the delivery of military personnel involved in the 2003 invasion of Iraq through Shannon Airport. The airport had previously been used for the invasion of Afghanistan in 2001, as well as the First Gulf War. 93. Since 1999, Ireland has been a member of NATO's Partnership for Peace, PFP, Program and NATO Seuro-Atlantic Partnership Council, EAPC, which is aimed at creating trust between NATO and other states in Europe and the former Soviet Union. 94-95 Military. Irish Army soldiers as part of Kosovo Force. 2010 Ireland is a neutral country, 96, and has triple lock rules governing the participation of Irish troops in conflict zones whereby approval must be given by the UN, the Dáil and government. 97. Accordingly, its military role is limited to national self-defense and participation in United Nations peacekeeping. The Irish Defence Forces, Oblain Éireann, are made up of Army, Naval Service, Air Corps and Reserve Defence Force. It is small but well equipped, with almost 10,000 full-time military personnel and over 2,000 in reserve. 98-99. Daily deployments of defence forces cover aid to civil power operations, protection. Irish Guard of Honour Garda Ónra during the state visit at Aras Anua Tahrain, Dublin and patrol of Irish territorial waters and EEZ by the Irish Naval Service, and UN, EU and PFP peacekeeping missions. By 1996 over 40,000 Irish service personnel had served in international UN peacekeeping missions. 100. The Irish Air Corps is the air component of the Defence Forces and operates 16 fixed-wing aircraft and 8 helicopters. The Irish Naval Service is Ireland's navy, and operates 6 patrol ships, and smaller numbers of inflatable boats and training vessels, and has armed boarding parties capable of seizing a ship and a special unit half frogmen. The military includes the Reserve Defence Forces, Army Reserve and Naval Service Reserve, for part-time reservists. Ireland's special forces include the Army Ranger Wing, which trains and operates with international special operations units. The President is the formal Supreme Commander of the Defence Forces, but in practice these forces answer to the government via the Minister for Defence. 101. In 2017, Ireland signed the United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. 102. Economy. Ireland is an open economy and ranks first for high-value foreign direct investment, FDI, flows. 103. Ireland ranks 5th of 187, IMF, and 6th of 175, World Bank, in GDP per capita as well as ranking in the top 10 for GNI per capita. An alternative and more accurate metric, known as the Modified Gross National Income, GNI, was created by the Central Statistics Office and is used by the Irish government and to give you an actual view of activity in the domestic economy after stripping out the activities of large multinational export movements which can relate to intangible assets. 104. This is particularly relevant in Ireland's economy, as GDP includes income from non-Irish owned companies, which often flows out of Ireland. 105. Foreign multinationals are the main driver of Ireland's economy, employing a quarter of the private sector workforce, 106, and paying 80% of Irish business taxes. 107, 108, 109, 14 of Ireland's top 20 firms, by 2017 turnover, are US-based multinationals, 110, and 80% of foreign multinationals in Ireland are from the US. 111, 112, 110, Ireland is part of the EU, dark blue and light blue, and Eurozone, dark blue. Ireland adopted the euro currency in 2002 along with 11 other EU member states. 70, as of January 2023 there are 20 EU member states using the euro currency, with Croatia the most recent member to join on the 1st of January 2023. 113, following the Great Recession and the bursting of the Irish property bubble, The country officially exited recession in 2010, driven by a growth in exports from US multinationals in Ireland. 114. However, due to a rise in the cost of public borrowing due to government guarantees of private banking debt, the Irish government accepted an €85 billion programme of assistance from the EU, International Monetary Fund, IMF, and bilateral loans from the United Kingdom, Sweden and Denmark. 115. Following 3 years of contraction, the economy grew by 0.7% in 2011 and 0.9% in 2012. 116. The unemployment rate was 14.7% in 2012, including 18.5% among recent immigrants. 117. In March 2016, the unemployment rate was reported by the CSO to be 8.6%, down from a peak unemployment rate of 15.1% in February 2012. 118. In addition to unemployment, net emigration from Ireland between 2008 and 2013 totaled 119, or some 2.6% of the total population according to the Census of Ireland 2011. One-third of the emigrants were aged between 15 and 24. 119. As of November 2022, unemployment had fallen back to 4.4%. 120. Ireland exited its EU IMF bailout program on the 15th of December 2013. 121. Having implemented budget cuts, reforms and sold assets, Ireland was again able to access debt markets. Since then, Ireland has been able to sell long-term bonds at record rates. 122. However, the stabilization of the Irish credit bubble required a large transfer of debt from the private sector balance sheet, highest OECD leverage, to the public sector balance sheet, almost unleveraged, pre-crisis, via Irish bank bailouts and public deficit spending. 123. 124. The transfer of this debt means that Ireland, in 2017, still has one of the highest levels of both public sector indebtedness and private sector indebtedness in the EU 28/OECD. 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130. Ireland became one of the main destinations for U.S. pharmaceutical corporate tax inversions from 2009 to 2016. 131, 132. The country has also become the largest foreign location for U.S. big-cap technology multinationals, i.e. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, which delivered a GDP growth rate of 26.3% and GNP growth rate of 18.7% in 2015. This growth was subsequently shown to be due to Apple restructuring its double Irish subsidiary, Apple Sales International, currently under threat of a €13 billion EU illegal state aid fine for preferential tax treatment. Taxation policy. The transformation of Ireland's tax policy started with the creation of a 10% low-tax special economic zone, called the International Financial Services Centre, or IFSC, in 1987. 133. In 1999, the entire country was effectively turned into an IFSC with the reduction of Irish corporation tax from 32% to 12.5%. 134, 135. This accelerated the later stages of Ireland's transition from a predominantly agricultural economy into a knowledge and service economy initially focused on property and construction and later focused on attracting mainly US multinationals from high-tech, life sciences, and financial services industries seeking to avail of Ireland's low corporation tax rates and favourable corporate tax system. The multinational tax schemes foreign firms use in Ireland materially distort Irish economic statistics. This reached a climax with the famous Leprechaun Economics GDP/GNP growth rates of 2015, as APLA restructured its Irish subsidiaries in 2015. The Central Bank of Ireland introduced a new statistic, Modify Gross National Income, to remove these